Hello, I'm Steve Pipe, and I want to talk to you about My Accountants and why I think you might be able to forge a fantastic career there, assuming that you're dynamic, assuming that you really want to do something great with your career as an accountant. My accountants are Bartfields. They're based here in Leeds. I'm a chartered accountant myself. They are actually one of the only firms of accountants in the area, in fact, one of the very few in the whole world, to feature in both of these books, the UK's Best Accounting Practice and the World's Most Inspiring Accountants. I know because I was the researcher and lead writer of both of those books. And in fact, the reason that my webcam is on and the reason I'm recording this for you is in a few minutes I'm about to run a webinar for 200 accountants in the USA. And in that webinar, I'm going to be specifically talking about Bartfields and how great they are. Let me just share with you the screens I'm going to be using when I do that in a few minutes' time. If we just go to the top, there are 3 slides I'm using. The first one introduces David Miller, one of the partners at Bartfields, the guy I would suggest you talk to. And I'm going to be telling the story which comes from this book of how David and his team at Bartfields helped a client here in Leeds get their dream home on a Greek island. And in fact, we go back a few years, you can see the essence of the story at the bottom left-hand corner of my screen there. The business was called Project It. They were a project-to-hire business. They were turning over 300,000. David stepped in, really made a difference, used his skills with numbers as a great accountant in the same sorts of way that you will be able to. And that business now turns over 2.4 million quid. So successful, in fact, that whilst it was going nowhere before, it's now so successful that the business owner was able to buy a piece of land on a Greek island, build his dream villa there, and live there 3 months a year. That's an example of the sorts of difference you might be able to make when you put your career, when you build your career at Bartfields. And in fact, the client, Chris Holt, said this, and this is the next slide I'm sharing with the 200 accountants. I'm no longer stressed. Why would I be? I have financial security for me and my family, a successful business, happy customers, and my dream home in the sun. And he went on to say, and this is a quote straight out of the book, in fact, I never thought I would hear myself say this, but the more I think about it, the more I realize it's true. My accountant has changed my life. That's an example of the sorts of things that Bartfields do. That's an example of the sorts of things that you would get the opportunity to be involved with, taking your career in the most exciting possible ways, which is why I suggest you talk to Bartfields to find out what roles there are. There are a variety of roles, I think, at the moment, and no doubt by the time you watch this, there may even be others. The firm is growing, the firm is dynamic, the firm is really very, very successful. When you talk to them, at very least, they'll give you copies of these 2 books so you can find out for yourself what it is that makes them special. But over and above that, and they're worth 90 quid, you can buy them on Amazon, but why would you bother? And my hope is that when you read them, you'll understand why I'm so excited about these opportunities and why I thought I would share them with you in this little video. Talk to them, get the books, they'll be free. It may transform your career. It's got to be worth talking to, hasn't it?